A miserable failure. That's how the opposition described the British government's programme to reduce unemployment. The £5 billion plan, aimed at encouraging private firms to take up the long-term jobless, helped around just 3% of those who signed up for it. RT's Sarah Firth reports.
For months now, 25-year-old Joe Paxton's been keeping a video diary about his experiences on the government's work programme.
Today, the work programme was even more pointless than usual.
The work programme's the government's flagship scheme that pays private sector organisations to place people in work, and they called it a revolution in welfare. But the first figures released since its launch revealed a resounding failure, something that hasn't surprised Joe in the slightest. So we've left Joe to go and keep his appointment. Now, it seems pretty tightly regimented. We've watched people running in all morning to keep that appointment. Joe's been coming to this job centre once a fortnight for the past 6 months that he's been on the government's work programme. In that time, he hasn't found a single job. Now, unfortunately, that's not uncommon. The latest figures released by the Department of Work and Pensions show that Joe is just one of hundreds of thousands of people that have signed up to that work programme scheme who found absolutely nothing. In fact, between June 2011 and July this year, of all the people who were signed up to the work programme, only 3.4% were found work, far below the target of 5.5%, which is the number of people who find work without any sort of programme. It means that people like Joe are now statistically less likely to find a job than if they're on no work programme whatsoever. Can you talk us through your sort of, the last 6 months? What has the experience been on a daily basis with this work programme?
Well, Einstein once said that the definition of insanity is to do one thing and then to repeat that action and expect a different result. And after doing the same thing and getting the same results for 6 months, I'm starting to feel pretty insane at the end. It is maddening. The frustration, the anguish, despair most of the time.
For Joe, and the experience is having serious effects.
I've actually gone to the doctors a couple of times because I have sleeping cycle problems. I'm sleeping way too much than I should be, and the doctors then went, that sounds interesting. From what you've said, that sounds pretty horrific. Why don't you fill in this checklist? So I filled in the checklist, and it's like, you've got clinical depression. It's like, oh, yeah, that figures. So there's an answer. At the start, I was like, yeah, go on, science, I'm going to be, the next greatest thing and show the world and way. And now it's like, I don't want to take these pills. I'd rather do something more constructive, sort of thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much where it's gone.
Author Shiv Malik tells us that the one-size-fits-all format of the work programme is stifling the individuality of young job seekers.
The people I speak to, they're quite intelligent, they're quite bright. Some of them have degrees, some of them don't. Some of them are quite well skilled, and they hate being told what to do, and they like to take appropriate actions for themselves, and they're usually quite good at finding work for themselves. It's just that it is difficult. With the work programme, what we've seen now is that, in fact, when you get the best of the private sector involved, when you pay them lots of money, they actually do worse than doing nothing at all.
We asked the government why the work programme was producing such poor results and why the figures they released seemed designed to mask the true extent of the failure. They responded saying,
"It's ridiculous to suggest the work programme is not helping people into work."
Despite being faced with their own shortcomings, it seems the government still doesn't want to listen to what people like Joe are telling them loud and clear.
I regret to inform you that on this occasion you have been unsuccessful.
Sarah Firth, RT, London.